Everyone. I am Dr. Susan Ratliff. I am one of the pediatricians at Pediatric Partners, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about potty training. So, potty training can be very challenging when you're in that moment, and it's one of those things that I think one of those milestones we all look forward to in our kids getting out of diapers. But I wanted to talk about some things that might make it a little bit easier for you to be able to do that. So, as we're talking about potty training with our toddlers, the first thing that we really have to do is we have to help them to get ready for potty training. Um, it's it's something that we sort of take for granted, that kids are all going to want to be potty trained. But I mean, honestly, why be potty trained? It's sure a lot easier to have someone change diapers and things like that for you. So we have to really think of it as building it up to our toddlers, trying to really encourage them to think that that's something that they want to take on. And that will make it a little bit easier for you. If you have your toddler on your side, anything goes better, and potty training is no different. So the ages as far as when potty training starts is different for every kid. So there are some kids that seem to be ready really, really early, and there are some kids that just want to take their time, and either one is fine. But there are some things that you can do as a parent to try and get your child a little bit more ready. So the first thing that you want to do is you really want to, usually around 18 months, sometimes a little bit before that, but you want to start talking a little bit about you're pointing out the fact that when you're changing a diaper that your child has peed, your child has pooped, your child is wet, your child is dirty. Those things are definitely worth talking about and helping your child sort of sense that and notice that. And then talk about how nice it is after you change your diaper, how nice it is to be clean and dry, how nice it is to have a nice clean diaper, so that they start to notice that difference. You really want to start building up the bathroom. Building up the potty is a really cool thing. So let them watch you go to the bathroom. Let them see you go, and when you go, say, "Oh, mommy went potty. Yeah, it's so fun to go potty. I put my pee in the potty, and it keeps me clean and dry." And talk a little bit about that to them, so that the wheels start turning a little bit in their head. So again, you can get your toddler on their side. This is a good time to start using the potty books. So there are all sorts of stories about potty training. There are characters go potty. There are kids that look like them. There are all sorts of potty book choices, and so starting to read some of those books just to get them thinking about it and getting used to it, comfortable with it, I think is a really good idea too. And then after you sort of introduced the idea a little bit, then getting your child a potty chair is a good idea. Not something that you're really going to expect them to necessarily use all the time right away, but just to get them comfortable. So even when you start, you could even put it in the playroom, for example, or in the living room. Just so they're around the potty chair and they know it's not something scary. And then you can move it to the bathroom after that. As you're thinking about getting potty chairs, there are lots of different potty chairs on the market. There are the potty chairs that the seat goes on to the potty. Those are fine. If you're going to do one of those, then just make sure that you have a nice stool for your child, and that your child is able to step up onto the stool and go potty, because that you don't want that to deter them from going. The actual little potties are nice because you don't have to worry about a stool. You don't have to rely as much on their gross motor development to get them ready for the potty. And so that's an option too. But either way, just start introducing the idea, get them used to it, know that it's not something scary. And you can even start having them sit on the potty, and they can sit on the potty before bath time. They can sit on the potty when they wake up first thing in the morning. They can sit on the potty when you go to the bathroom. Those just kind of making it very low key and a very positive experience and a very fun experience for them will really help as they get more and more ready for for potty training. So that will really help too. And once in a while they may sit there and actually pee on the potty, and if that happens, that's going to be a really big deal, right? You're going to make a huge deal out of that. But initially, I wouldn't expect that. You're just having them in the beginning, having them sit on the potty just for exploration is worth praise enough. So so that's kind of where you'll start. And then once your child really starts showing you some interests and telling you that they're ready to do a little bit more, or they want to sit on the potty, then you have the green light to go whenever that starts to happen. So they really developmentally they really need to be able to tell you that they need to go. It doesn't have to be full vocabulary, but they need to somehow be able to tell you that they need to go. They need to be able to get themselves to the potty. So it's they're not really potty trained if you're taking them to the potty every 15 minutes and they actually go. Um, if they need to be able to get themselves there. Um, that your child needs to kind of like the potty chair, so you got to work on that a little bit, get them to feel comfortable and like the potty chair, think that it's a fun thing that they want to explore. And then your child really needs to be able to get their clothes on and off to be able to really potty train. So that doesn't mean that they have to be totally able to do their overalls, for example, which are really hard. But if they have elastic waist pants, they need to be able to pull them down and pull down their panties and be able to go on their own. So those are the things developmentally to kind of think about before you really dive into this completely. And if your child's not ready there developmentally, then that's okay. Just keep building it up, like we talked about, until the other catches up. So even if your child's showing a little bit of interest and not able to do these other things, they're probably not going to fully be able to do what they need to do. So when you do think that you're at that point that you're ready and your child's ready to go full force, then there are a few things you need to think about. It's a good idea to do it on um, a time, a few days where you guys are going to be home. If you're out running errands or you have birthday parties and lots of things that you need to be out doing, it's probably not the best day to start potty training. You really want to set your kid up for success. And so make that a day or a weekend when you guys are home, you're not going anywhere, and you can really just devote some good quality time to potty training. Um, and quarantine and COVID really makes that a little bit easier. We're all spending more time at home these days, and so um, you know, if you haven't potty trained yet, this would be a great time to do it. Um, on the first thing in the morning, whenever you start the potty training day, your first day, you want your child to have lots of fluids. So start that and continue that through the whole day. Lots, whatever fluids they like, let them drink and drink and drink. You want to give your child lots of opportunities to go to the potty, and you want them to even sometimes have accidents at the potty, if that makes sense. So they sit down and, oh, oops, I peed, just because you're giving them so much liquid that they're kind of going a lot. So lots and lots of fluid so that they have lots of chances for success. And when your child does to have a successful time at the potty, then make a really big deal out of it, right? So it's like a potty party that you guys are doing, and that will really make it more fun for your kid, and you will hopefully have more success. Now, I want you to think about other ways that you can set your child up for success with potty training. For example, put them in clothes that are very easy to get on and off. So they should probably just have one layer of clothes. They should, in their pants should hopefully be elastic waist. This isn't the time for the really fancy buttons or snaps or anything like that. They just let them have the whatever is easiest for them to get off and on. Lots of people will do potty training without wearing anything on the bottom, and it's still warm enough outside. That's probably fine. Um, you might be prepared for some more accidents, and some more messes, but as long as you're comfortable with that and you keep your kid on wood floors, for example, um, then that's probably a really good way to go because you don't have to worry about the cleanup as much. Um, you do want your child to wear um, training training underwear or real underwear. Um, those just make it a little bit easier. Diapers are hard for them to get off, and even pull-ups I think can be a little bit hard to get off. Number one, and number two, it's hard for them to really learn that when they peed and they had an accident in their pull-up, for example, there's really no sequelae. You don't notice right away. You can't get them to the potty right away. So if they're in actual underwear and actual clothes, then that does make it a little bit easier. Sometimes you can even catch them in the act of going. You see that they're starting to go, so you take them to the potty right away. Hey, that's great. You're teaching them that when we pee in the potty. So make sure that they're able to do that on their own and their clothes are easy to get up and down. As you're doing this, you're going to want to take them to the potty often. I would even set a timer that reminds you to take them to the potty as much as every 15 to 30 minutes in the beginning, just to let them have some success again. And 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 this is a situation where bribes are okay. So if you know your child best, if your child is one of those that really does get motivated by things, then yeah, you can totally bribe them. Give them a sticker every time they go pee, or give them a stamp every time they pee on the potty. I envision your child being covered in stamps, and that's totally fine. If that's what gets them to go to the bathroom, then great. I'm also not opposed. I know it's shocking to hear this if you've watched any of my other nutrition videos, but I'm not opposed to bribing them with a little chocolate chip or a M&M or something like that. Just think about what motivates your child and use that, because it's not going to last forever. It's going to hopefully be just a couple of days, and you'll really start to see some progress there. Um, some people reward potty training with really big rewards, like they take them to the toy store and let them get whatever they want, or they buy them a new fill in the blank, right? But it's really best to leave those big rewards for big accomplishments. For example, the first time they go dry, they're dry all day, maybe, or they're they are dry for a few days, something like that, or they have their first success when you guys go to Target. Um, then fine. If they're dry at Target or whatever, then get them something. But keep in mind, you want this to continue, and so those big rewards are very hard to sustain. Accidents are inevitable. Your child is going to have some accidents. So if they have accidents, obviously you want to make it a teachable moment, but don't punish them. It shouldn't be a timeout situation or anything like that for accidents, and really kind of make it a no emotion, no big deal kind of thing. Like, okay, we had an accident. Let's get some clean pants. Feels nice to be clean and dry, right? Yep. All right. Let's try again next time and move on. Um, and I really encourage you to sort of think of this as a process, right? You may try this. You might say, okay, we're ready. We've done everything to get our kid ready. we're going to start this weekend, and you may start and you may realize we are not having any success. It's okay to stop, and try again later. Your kid will get there. And your kid's not going to be perfect. Even once you decide, okay, they're potty trained, they're mostly dry. There are going to be times when they have accidents, and just prepare for that. It makes it less traumatic for all of us if you do that. So um, now, just one thing to note: some kids will be ready to pee on the potty before they're ready to poop on the potty, and some kids will actually poop on the potty before they're ready to pee on the potty. And either way is fine. If you are working on potty training, just make sure that your child is not having any problems with constipation, which can really make potty training a lot more challenging. And sometimes we can really run into the situation where they don't want to poop on the potty, or they're refusing to poop on the potty because they're associating it with some constipation that they've had in the past. So before you really start potty training full force, make sure that the stools are very well managed. And that will make a big difference for you. Um, so I think that pretty much covers what I was going to talk about. If you have specific questions about your child or specific challenges, please don't hesitate to schedule an appointment with one of our providers, and we'd be happy to talk about potty training a little bit more with you. Um, and and I hope you guys have a great weekend. We will see you next week.